A mountain of bills. That's what Oregon lawmakers are dealing with now as they go into the third week of the 83rd legislative session.
Now, it's too early to say if this could be a record year, as more bills are expected to be introduced during this session. Our political director, Ken Boddy, is here. How many bills so far have been introduced, Ken?
We're talking about more than 2,200, and there are more to come. It's the most in 25 years, and they run the gamut from important issues like housing and education to more trivial matters like cleaning up administrative language. Still, legislators have a lot on their plates.
Senate Joint Resolution 31, we're proposing an amendment to the Oregon Constitution relating to...
Most of the bills read into the record on the very first day of the legislature will not make it into law, according to Coin political analyst and former state senator Rick Metzger.
Of all the bills that are filed, only about 25% of those even have a chance of actually be passed into law. And of those that will eventually be passed, probably around 800 of those bills, about half of those are simply correcting errors in bills from a previous session.
This year, the leading bill sponsor is Democrat Representative Paul Evans of Monmouth. He's sponsoring or co-sponsoring more than 300 bills, ranging from veterans' rights to horse racing. There are no limits on the number of bills a legislature can introduce or co-sponsor. It's a way to show their constituents that they're taking action and getting their constituent concerns on the record. Metzger says the most important issues will likely be dealt with later in the session, which ends in June.
So you get down to those really hardcore issues, education, housing, homelessness, etc. And those are the ones that legislators will really focus on. A lot of the other stuff just fills up the bin, but really has no intention of having them move anywhere.
Well, another reason for the small stuff to be dealt with first is that many of the bigger issues like transportation and education depend on federal funding. So this will give legislators more time to react to whatever the Trump administration may do in terms of funding and support in those areas. So we should know sooner rather than later if the Senate Concurrent Resolution 13 makes it to the floor. That would make the T-bone the state's official steak. Yeah.
Well, a lot of folks are hoping that passes for sure. How about the poor person that has to read all those bills into the record?
Yeah, we saw that on the first day of the legislature, and you saw how quickly that she was going through them. There's just a big bin right next to her filled with all those bills, and she was picking up the files and just reading the titles and to get them read officially into the record.
Well, thanks for that perspective. We'll see how many of these bills actually become law. Thanks, Ken.